giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm, Boston Scientific and DFW Turf. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! We're getting close to some real football, and I'm excited for it, man. Getting real close. Tomorrow, you got the kickoff. Rams, Bills, and then the Bucks, Cowboys Sunday night. And today we continue our full-blown coverage. We'll take a look at the Cowboys defense against that Bucks offense and why this thing is completely different than last year. But we'll dive into every little nook and cranny of the matchup. Plus, the old man is talking again, y'all. He's talking again. So we'll look into what he's got to say in the roundup, and we have an unofficial depth chart that seems to have, the Cowboys Nation in a tizzy. It's very provocative to some. So we'll take a look at that in a roundup before we get to the meat and potatoes of the show, which is diving into Tom Brady versus Michael Parsons, part 2, right? Really is Dan Quinn versus Tom Brady, part 2. But it'll be a fun matchup. That's the matchup I'm most excited to see on Sunday night. And I think it's the matchup that's going to dictate whether the Cowboys win or lose this game. But shout out to the Bomb Squad in the building.
Bomb Squad!
I see y'all in here. Listen, Friday is probably going to be a little bit more of a chill day as we do some predictions and whatnot. But I'm most excited to kind of just review the Bills-Rams game. Yeah, football's back, man. It's here. There's no more fluff that we need to do. We can dive right into everything, and I'm just so damn excited about that, y'all. I truly am. If you want to keep up with the Cowboys on A to Z Sports Dallas.com and anything in regards to the Cowboys and A to Z Sports Dallas, just follow all the stuff you see down there on the DFW Turf ticker, the #1 artificial turf installer in the DFW area. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Skywalker Still. I'm constantly putting things up. A lot of all 22 clips or whatnot I drop on there before I do the show today. And we're gonna dive into some of that tape that I watched from last year and some of the research that I took a part of and doing to give y'all a quality show here and to make us smarter, right? To make us smarter as we get prepared for this Bucks game. I'm ready, y'all. I'm just ready, man. I am. Yes, indeed. Shout out to the chat. I see you set it off, Chris. Payback, Carter, Joe T, William Burney, Captain America, Joey V, Danny Savage, Lamitra, Jose in the building. CJ Richards, what's up? Gregory, Dak not done yet. TC915, Samuel Rowe. Also got AJ Torres, Professor Rowe, was goody. Aaron, Gregory, B47 Vic, what up? Anthony Timo Moore was goody. David Reyes, Big Sarge, Derek Fisher. Who else we got in here? We already had to get some weirdos out the chat over on Facebook, man. Facebook is, listen, I appreciate my guys like CJ and Tom and all those that rock with us on Facebook, but boy, it's a little interesting over there. K Choice was goody. This guy here, had to get him out the chat. Paris Carlock, Oscar Sullivan, another one on Facebook. Christopher Leonard. You guys, I appreciate y'all. Mackenzie, two times. What's up? You're not that guy, pal. I feel like I got to say it like that. Matt Goddix, Toxic Tom, of course, Jeannie Jones, and the many more that are in here this morning. I appreciate y'all. I truly do. Let's go ahead and get into this because we got a jam-packed show that I want to make sure we get in, the meat potatoes of this. And then coming out, you guys can call in if you want, 351-999-3788. 7. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, Jerry Jones, man. I had some fun with this yesterday on the Voss and Vardy show. So Jerry said a lot of things on 105 through the fan. Y'all know me. I don't really like to play his audio. I don't even really like to talk about him too much. But this one thing just stuck out to me in a very negative light, and it basically confirms what we already know. And he said something similar to this before, but I feel like I just got to get this out the way early in the show and we can move forward. But Jerry went on one of his radio rants, one of his radio hits that just didn't hit yesterday. But here's the quote of what Jerry said. Just one of them. Ridiculous. Quote, "If anybody is thinking we have more said about us, more visibility, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I want to keep them talking about the Cowboys. If we got them talking about us, we're doing our job." Run that back. If we got them talking about us, we're doing our job. And y'all wonder why Cowboy fans say some of the things we say about this organization in the front office. Now, I'm not going to go all the way back because we in Bucks Cowboys week. I'm just letting y'all know, for those that be getting on people that say certain things about the organization. This is their objective up there. This is your owner, president, and general manager's objective. Not doing our job to win a Super Bowl. Not doing our job to have success on the field. To talk about us. Oh, Jerry. Fortunately, I don't really put as much emotion into what this guy got to say. Whatever, man. But I just thought Cowboys Nation, y'all would enjoy making fun of this situation here. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to let y'all pick him apart here. Jesus Christ. This depth chart kind of got some folks in the tizzy. Yesterday it came out. It is the unofficial depth chart. You guys can't see it. It's really small on there. But not a whole lot of craziness. The two things that stand out the most, I think, here are offensively, it has Michael Gallup in as a starter. Obviously, Michael Gallup's not playing on Sunday, but he's not on IR either. So he technically has to be put on the depth chart somewhere. And, of course, he's the starting wide receiver when he returns. The other thing I find interesting is on the defense, where Big Bo, Q, is the starter next to Osa, and Neville Gallimore's behind him. This is, again, unofficial, nothing to get really up in arms about, especially defensively when these guys are going to be splitting reps. But I wanted to take this time to use this as an excuse to basically talk up Quinton Bohanna. That's basically what I wanted to do. Is Quinton Bohanna better than Neville Gallimore? I mean, that's to be determined this year. Last year, years before, no, obviously, right? But that's to be determined. But what I want to do with this is let y'all know that Q, in my opinion, has done just as much as any defensive tackle on this football team and deserves some praise this offseason. Now, the season has to start. He has to carry that over, et cetera, et cetera. But my man has put in the work. He's looked impressive. He's gotten quicker, stronger, faster, whatever you want to call it. Tristan Hill's a guy we talk about in the offseason. Osa's a guy we talked about. And obviously Neville, who's also had a pretty good camp in preseason. Quinton Bohanna is right up there with all of them. From my eyes, from what I've seen on the field and from what I've seen at camp. Now, I've only seen 6 practices, but, I mean, that's 6 practices. So, shout out to Q. I'm expecting a nice year 2 jump for him. And I think it's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, I can feel okay with bringing along John Ridgeway, Big Country, a little bit slower than maybe I had thought when we drafted him. I thought we were going to have to throw him in the fire But moving Neville Gallimore to 1 tech and then Quentin Bohanna's year 2 jump, you don't have to really lean on John Ridgway as much, I don't think. So there we go. The Truth said, based off what you said, Scott, what is Armstrong then? Just be able to start. I'm not really following what that means, The Truth MDP. But if we want to talk about Armstrong, Armstrong's a starter. I think that's kind of been the case for some time. I mean, all you got to do is just look at how they played it. He didn't play at all in the preseason. Right? He didn't play at all in the preseason. So that is this morning's roundup. Got the old man talking, and then you got the depth chart. Anything surprise you guys on the depth? It's an unofficial depth chart, but again, I didn't see too many things that make me go, oh my God. But anything surprise you guys on that unofficial depth chart that was released yesterday to the public? Ham Zone, super chat, appreciate you.
Super chat.
Says, with these Joneses in charge, we won't win, sadly. Well, Ham Zone 71. If you just take this thought process with it, I think you'll feel a lot better. When the Cowboys win, it'll happen at some point. I truly 100% believe it will be in spite of the Joneses, not because of the Joneses. So at some point, it'll overcome the issues. It's just so much harder when you have the structure in Dallas. It's not impossible. So it's not impossible. It's just extremely hard when you got to deal with that kind of upper management in the National Football League. So hopefully, we catch lightning. Hopefully, all it takes is one run. That's all it takes. I don't give a damn how that run happens. We just need it to happen. It's been a long time. Let's see what's good. All right. So not too many. Nobody's too surprised on that. Oh, okay. That is the other thing. Thank you, Devin. So if you actually look at the depth chart, unofficial, they have 12 starters on defense. The 3 safety thing is not the surprising factor to me, but yeah, they do have 12 starters on defense. And I think it's because of the big nickel package that Dan Quinn likes to run, which we'll see this Sunday, which I'm very excited about because I think it'll help combat what they like to do, they as in the Bucks, the most. So it looks like Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, and Jaron Kearse are your 3 starters at safety. And you'll see these guys. I think you'll see a Donovan Wilson play about 40% of the snaps, maybe even more than that throughout the season, provided he's healthy, because we're going to play so much based our nickel defense, so much. Jay Versick, when we get a lead, we cannot let our foot off the gas. Yeah, got to get that lead, right? Gotta get that lead. All right, y'all. Let's get into this thing. I'm ready. We got about 300 up in here. Special K said, man, I forgot about Wilson. It's a beautiful thing when you can forget about Dono, who I like. I love Donovan Wilson's game. But the reason why you forget about him is not because he's a bad player. It's because Jaron Kearse. It's because he's a Pro Bowl player, was a Pro Bowl player in my eyes last year, right? What's good, landlord? Landlord from Alabama. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and start this defensive outlook against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I usually like to start it off with looking at some of their skill players and beginning with basically the run game. And if we want to be honest, if we want to keep it a buck, Tampa's not going to beat you with their run game. That's not what they do. And if you go and look at the game last year against the Cowboys, Dallas really didn't have any issues on the ground facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it wasn't like the Bucs were really trying to run for that purpose anyway. That's just not their game. But it still is encouraging when teams do try to run the Cowboys, when teams try to run to stay on script, because that's what the Bucs do. the Cowboys didn't get gashed, because we've seen that happen throughout the season with other teams. I mean, if you go look at the Chiefs game, the Chiefs are usually a team that likes to stay on script with the ground game. They're not trying to beat you with it, but they were beating the Cowboys with the ground game. And if any team senses that, of course, they're just going to keep doing it. Well, the Bucs didn't do that last year. Fournette only carried the ball 9 times, and Ronald Jones only carried it 4 times, and they both averaged less than 4 yards per carry. They're not running to establish anything on the ground. They're running just to stay on script. Now, when they did have any success on the ground, it was mostly running behind Ryan Jensen, their center, who's not playing on Sunday. So you got a backup center, because I think their backup got hurt, and a rookie left guard that's going to be playing next to, in between, I should say, their tackles and their Pro Bowl guard and Shaq Mason. And we'll get to that offensive line from a pass blocking standpoint later. But from a run blocking standpoint, again, I don't think this is their game. So I don't really fear Leonard Fournette. I don't fear Giovanni Bernard. I don't fear these guys. With that said, I hope they don't go out there and do nothing crazy. But let's take a look at their pass catching weapons. That's where it gets more challenging. But if you go look at last year with Mike Evans versus Trevon Diggs, he put that boy in clamps. Absolute clamps. Diggs shadowed Mike Evans 83% of the time last year, 39 of his 47 routes, and he allowed 1 reception for 10 yards on 3 targets. Shout out to Next Gen Stats. When they dropped that after the game, we was running with that, wasn't we? We was running with it. And little did we know, it was a foreshadow. It was a foreshadow of things to come with, in my opinion, with Diggs versus some of these top guys. A lot of people like to get on Diggs about the yards and things like that. But if you go look at the top dudes he faced, he fared very well, in my opinion, against all of them, just about. And did he let up a catch here or there, or did he get beat on biting on a fake screen to what's the cat's name, in Adam Thielen in Minnesota? Yeah, it happens. But for the most part, when he had to play star coverage against a guy like this, he was successful. So I go into this game once again confident in Mike Evans versus Trevon Diggs. His skill set doesn't strike fear in me in that matchup. That's right up Trevon Diggs' alley. So then you move forward with Julio Jones, who they want, and they signed in the offseason. And they're hoping they can get a younger Julio Jones. They're hoping that, this guy can come in week 1 Julio. If you go look at traditionally, week 1 Julio is pretty damn good. Early season Julio. He's healthy. He's not going to be banged up Julio. Could be interesting. But here's the question that I ask. How is Julio Jones going to be utilized? Because before we get to Chris Godwin, the one thing that I was thinking about yesterday, Cowboys Nation, is if Godwin doesn't suit up, can Julio do some slot things? Now, once we get to Gage, I'll talk about that in a second. But the reason why I asked this is because I watched a Larry Fitzgerald get older in the second half of his career, the back half of his career, and he went from almost being he was a predominantly boundary wide receiver. Almost 90% of the time he's out there out wide. And if you go look at the tailwind of his career, it flipped. It became a slot guy, and it helped prolong his career. I wonder if that's something that Julio could do. Now, last year in Tennessee, he didn't do a lot of slot things at all. In Atlanta, he did more slot things, but you weren't seeing more than 10, 12 snaps inside. So my thought process kind of just fell on its, just fell down when I went and did some research. He's not really going to play a lot of slots. So, all right, Julio's not going to play slot. He's going to play on the boundary. I'm okay. I know Julio is Julio. I understand that, but he's not the Julio of 2012. You know what I'm saying? He's not that guy anymore. He's not that guy, pal. Nonetheless, you got to respect him. I get it. I think the matchup most of you guys will be worried about is AB against him. Half of y'all don't even like Anthony Brown in general, so I get that. Then you got the size mismatch. Anthony Brown runs, 5'11"? Julio stands at 6'3", and he's a bigger, more physical corner. But I didn't see a lot of downfield things with him. Maybe that changes with Tom Brady. It just wasn't a thing last year. He's more of a possession guy now. And if that's the case, I'm fine with it. What gave AB trouble last year was AB. Antonio Brown. He's not here. I think the guy that's going to fill all of that Antonio Brown absence in regards to moving around in the slot duties is Russell Gage. If Chris Godwin doesn't play. Russell Gage is the guy you put in the slot if Chris Godwin doesn't play. He played majority of his career snaps inside, but last year with Julio gone from the Falcons, both of those guys came from the Falcons, he split duties out there essentially evenly. Smaller guy, more shiftier guy. When I say smaller, I mean weight-wise. He's still a 6'1" type of wide receiver. Just on the smaller-ish side. Runs about 180, 185. I still feel good about that matchup. if he had to go up against AB or if he had to go up against Jordan Lewis. But if Julio were to slide inside for both of these guys and it's Julio versus Jordan Lewis, things get a little bit more choppier because J. Lou is a small dude. And if all Julio got to do is box out, get the first downs, get open quick, he can do those things. Russell's a bit more shiftier. I like my chances more against Jordan Lewis in that case, which sounds crazy, right? Like you would think that a faster guy, more shiftier guy would give those guys trouble inside, but that's basically his game. Talking about J. Lou, if he plays, which we'll find out today when the injury report comes out. And then finally, Chris Godwin. There's an asterisk next to Chris Godwin because we don't really know if he's going to play. He is their true slot guy. That's what he's been ever since he's joined the Buccaneers as a rookie, and his numbers only increased in the slot the more he plays. And once Tom Brady came on board, Chris Godwin played a career high 70% inside. And if you are a good receiver in general, if you can do a multitude of things and you're the slot guy with Tom Brady, that's the goal position. And you have every opportunity to be extremely, extremely successful. Extremely successful from the slot. So there's an asterisk there because I don't know if he's going to play. But even if he doesn't, they have enough at the position to get time to still be able to matriculate down the field, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to get to the passing aspect of this game, which is Tom Brady and their, in my opinion, the X's and O's to it in a second. But that is essentially the skill players you'll have to deal with. Now, I didn't bring up the tight ends because there's no Gronkowski anymore, but Kate Otten, I understand, is there. Cameron Brady, I understand, is there. I feel like those guys won't be featured as much, which in a Tom Brady offense, maybe I'm underestimating that aspect of it. Maybe they will. But I feel like without Gronkowski there isn't that connection that they had last year in week 1. And if you go back and watch that game, Gronk has some I think he had 2 touchdowns in that game, by the way. But I think Gronk has some clutch catches, including the touchdowns. He had a crazy contested catch on the sideline to the right, where I think it was a 3rd down. So no Gronk there. That kind of connect, that don't have to say a word to each other connection is not there from the tight end position anymore. So that's a favor for the Cowboys. Antonio Brown's not there anymore. To me, that's a favor for the Cowboys. Offensive line is jacked up a little bit. Favor for the Cowboys, and we'll get to exactly why after we hit these phone lines real quick, which are presented by Pulse of the Nation, presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 2005, the Cochran Firm has served the DFW area community And I emphasize the community because it's not just legal issues, but they help out in everything in every way that you can possibly think of. Their attorneys are headlined by the team of managing partners Brian Pope and Larry Taylor. They handle the most challenging civil cases involving personal injury, wrongful death, automobile accidents, class action suits, and many more. If you want more information, you want to talk to Larry or Brian, call the Cochran firm at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. What's up, Los?
Good morning, Sky. I'll try to land the plane real quick.
Before it takes off.
I'll try to make it quick because you know the chat be flaming me up, man. But yeah, I hope you're having a good morning, man. But hey, Cowboys are not the only team going through an offensive line turmoil. We forget that the Buccaneers are one of these teams that had a lot of key starters
We don't.
from last year not even there, you know? Can you hear me, Sky?
I can hear you. I said we don't forget. We brought that up earlier in the show. Ryan Jensen's is not here. And then their backup center got hurt, and then they're dealing with a rookie left guard. So yeah, we're aware.
Yeah. So yeah, Buccaneers are vulnerable, and if anything, we have the best defensive line, and I think secondary to kind of hold off Tom Brady and go on an attack on him. And I think, like I said, if we're going to get on the jump on Tom Brady early, I think we're going to have to at least sack him, basically disrupt him. If you can disrupt his rhythm and make him see ghosts, that's how you beat him. And Mike is going to be a big key part of that. I want to see how Dan Quinn moves him around. But also I want to see how the secondary holds up, especially with the safeties. And, yeah, that's my key stats for the defensive and what I'm looking for. You have a great morning, Scott. Peace.
Appreciate you, Los. All right. Landed that plane pretty good. Let's get to 561. What's good, 561?
Hey, what's up? It's Aaron.
Hey, Aaron. What's good, Aaron? I know you got something for me.
What's up? Hey, so I just have one point. I said it yesterday, is that Tom Brady knows that the blitz is coming. You know, he knows Micah is going to move all around and do what, but I really think that this is the best chance for Micah to get his first career pick with a bust blitz. So,
yeah, you brought that up yesterday on Vacha's show, right?
Yeah. So I think he looks like he's coming, but since Tom Brady always likes to go hot with his hot read, that he could just drop back, like take a step forward, drop back, jump up, and get a pick. I think that's my prediction for something that the defense is going to do.
All right.
So that's all I have today.
Appreciate you, Aaron. We're going to do some bold predictions tomorrow on the show. And I'm pretty sure that'll be Aaron's is the interception with Micah Parsons. And actually, that's a pretty good one because we all expect Micah to come forward, right? We all expect Micah to pressure Tom Brady is more than last year. The stat that we keep talking about over the last few weeks is he dropped back 29 times. I don't think that's going to happen. I also think you saw Micah Parsons kind of look like a rookie week one. When we played, I don't have it in my sound bank anymore. But when we played Micah's locker room interview last week, when he was just tired of everybody asking him questions about going up against his own team, he said, I'm ready to hit somebody else. I'm ready to kill somebody else is what he said. He said, yeah, week one was my worst game. And you can kind of see him not sure of himself in week one. And then it clicked fast, didn't it? It clicked fast. So, Aaron talked about Tom Brady, throwing a pick. Los talked about Tom Brady and pressuring him and whatnot. So let's talk about that Tom Brady passing offense, this Buccaneers passing offense, which is really Tom Brady's passing offense. It's not Byron Leftwich. It's not Byron Leftwich at all. Let's make no mistake about it, man. It's a quick strike, quick hitting offense where he can make a living in the middle of the field if you allow it. And the Cowboys kind of allowed him to do so last year. He had 129 rating when he threw in that area. But his game, and I think Tampa's game, obviously, is all about getting that ball out fast. That he gets it out faster than anyone in the league now. Last year, he was second in the league in getting the ball out at 2.35 seconds. And it wasn't because his offensive line was bad. That's not the case. Because his offensive line over the last 2 years have given up fewer pressures than anyone in the league on a percentage basis. So it's not because of that. So if they're not going to run the ball all that effectively like we talked about, then we have to make sure there are incompletes on first down. Because that's how they get they get the 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, right? Or 3rd and 1, 3rd and manageable. It's the quick, bing, 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 bing. You got to make sure they stay behind these chains and get in 3rd and advantage situations for the Cowboys. Because if you get to 3rd down and it's 3rd and medium or 3rd and long, there was a little bit of success last year for the Cowboys. There was. His passer rating plummeted it to 64. All the way down to 64. But as you saw with that throw right there, he's not just a dink and dunk guy. Like Tom can do more than just dink and dunk that thing. You know, it is still Tom Brady. He got pinpoint accuracy deep, and we saw that a few times with Antonio Brown. But it is a story as old as the Bible itself. If you get pressure on Tom, you have a chance. Under pressure. You gotta pressure Tom Brady, y'all. You just have to. And Dallas didn't do a lot of that. You can't allow this man to get into rhythm. But Dallas just didn't do a lot of that last year. And going back and watching the game again, preparing for this show, it was frustrating. You remember the Cowboys used to face Eli Manning, and we all knew, Eli's going to get the ball out quick. We're never going to get sacked on Eli. But there was times we did get sacks. DeMarcus Ware sacks Eli. He has a dumb Eli face. Tom ain't get sacked one time last year. Didn't get hit one time last year. And the Cowboys only pressured him on 9 snaps, and he threw it over 50. Can't be the case this year. Won't be the case this year. I don't think. But if it is the case, then be prepared for the Buccaneers to score some points. Because that's what they do. But if you put him under pressure, he becomes immortal, in my opinion. A mere mortal. These are some of the numbers last year over the entire season, not just against the Cowboys, over the entire season compared to Dak Prescott. 44.8% completion. And then when you adjust it for the drops and whatnot, 57.9 compared to Dak's 52 and 66.7. When he was under pressure, he was 23rd in first downs. Dak was 5th. And when it comes to passer rating, he was 18th. Dak was 4th. I'm just saying. This isn't new, obviously, right? But I think the Cowboys can do that. I think the Cowboys can put pressure on Tom Brady this year compared to last. And again, it's not fun tape to watch when we faced the Buccaneers last year, because Brady did just that. Bing, 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 bing. Just kind of picked you apart. And then when you play action deep, he'd hit Antonio Brown. He'd hit Rob Gronkowski. He'd hit another Antonio Brown completion. I don't know that unless Russell Gage just gets behind you. I don't think Mike Evans is going to get behind you. I don't think Julio is really going to get behind you. I would make those guys beat me with Yak if that's going to be the case. And if we're being fair on that play right there with Antonio Brown, coach did come out and say AB was expecting safety help, but because J. Lou fell, KZ committed, which left him kind of in no man's land. But nonetheless, I think Anthony Brown will have a better game this year. That could be optimism, whatever you want to call it. But I think he'll be better this year. We got a couple super chats, or a super chat, because I think I got the other one earlier.
Super chat.
Triple D, it's a story as old as a Bible. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. King Element.
Super chat.
Appreciate you. It says, Sky, I'm calling it. Whoever the slot corner is, week 1, J. Lou, if healthy, is getting a sack. A sack fumble on a play where Brady is locked in on Micah. All right, y'all ain't saving y'all predictions and y'all bold predictions for Friday. So King Element has a sack fumble on Brady if he's locked in on Micah. All right, let's see. We didn't do a whole lot of slot blitzes last year, but again, man, Dan Quinn, the beauty of Dan Quinn is he gets in a lab and he just turns into a mad scientist. So I think Dan Quinn will have something different for Tom Brady this year, especially because it's just going to be a different personnel grouping out there. Like, we didn't even get into that, and I will in a quick second here. Just want to get into the chat. Some of us got work on Friday, says Nick P. So he's giving his bold prediction. Turpin takes one to the house on the opening kickoff. Oh, I will lose my shit at Texas Live if that happens. Funny, so Brian Bradford said KZ's always blowing coverage last year. The funny thing about KZ was not bad last year to start the season, especially in that game. He didn't blow that coverage, that specific coverage. If KZ commits to Antonio Brown, you could argue it might have been a touchdown the other way. It just would have been more yak. So maybe somebody could have hawked him down and tackled him. But my man was wide open if KZ didn't commit to the center of the field because J. Lou fell down. And if you also remember, KZ had the biggest play of the game for the Cowboys, and it was the forced fumble with 5 minutes left in the game as the Bucs were heading in for a touchdown that gave Dallas a chance to go get the lead, and they went and got it. So, and then the next week he got an interception in the red zone against Herbert. So KZ started off really good, and then he got that DUI and shit went to, just wasn't great no more. Would you rather have KZ or Hooker? Oh, I was a Malik Hooker guy even before they signed KZ. Like, remember when it was, hey, they brought in KZ, they brought in Hooker, who you want? I said, man, if Hooker's healthy, you give me Malik Hooker. So, and I'm still Malik Hooker, and he's healthy now. So, absolutely give me Malik Hooker over KZ. So I'm glad you brought up Dante Fowler. 5-footer. Interesting name. That's another guy who is playing in this game that didn't play last year. And I should have brought up my tweet. Keep on doing that. But last year, again, I'll repeat this. You had Brent Irving play 28 snaps. You had Keanu Neal play 50. No Malik Hooker. Obviously no Dante Fowler, but I'm just talking about last year. No Malik Hooker. Who else? No Neville Gallimore. No Tristan Hill. All three of those guys will be playing. Year two for a lot of these dudes. Year two in Dan Quinn's system. J-Ron knows what he's doing now. Micah knows what he's doing now. DeMarcus Lawrence, I thought D-Law played pretty decently from a pressure standpoint, but I think you're going to get a hungrier, more quicker D-Law that gave Tristan Wirfs trouble. There was a play I talked about on Twitter, 118 left, up one. I think a play most of us forget. Trayvon Diggs almost ended that game. And then on the front end, DeMarcus Lawrence almost ended that game. He beat Tristan Wirfs with that famous hump move that jump hop that he does against tackles. It was that close to a strip sack. And then Diggs, that close to an interception. So it was that defense did that to the Bucs. When I say that, I mean kept them in the game, right? 3 turnovers, I think it was. Brady did his thing. He had 2 interceptions, but neither was really his fault. But I think you're going to see a different style of defense for the Cowboys. And what I mean is longer, faster, and more sure of themselves. Dan Quinn somebody asked Dan Quinn about, hey, is this the fastest team you've ever had? It's like, yeah, I suppose, but what's going to make these guys faster is the fact that they're more comfortable in the system. So you won't see Micah Parsons out there kind of trying to figure things out. And I think from a linebacker standpoint, Dallas will be much more equipped to handle the quick game. LVE only played 14 snaps last year. That number will increase. But I'd caution keeping him out there if he's not adjusting to the quick game. I think he only played that number of snaps due to the game plan. Really going to be interested to see how that works this year. Jalen Smith didn't play a whole lot of snaps either in that game. Neither did. It was Keanu Neal, Michael Parsons because of game plan. I don't think LVE got faster, got quicker, you know what I mean? So I don't know what changes in that department. I think Jabril Cox is your new Keanu Neal, but he's a better cover guy. So I just wonder, if I was there, they're not going to give out the game plan, but if I'm in the Star and I'm walking by and I see a Jabril Cox or I see a Dan Quinn or I see a George Edwards, hey, Jabril Cox got a big role coming up this week, and that might give you a look. It might just flat out give you the damn answer, but it's something to keep your eye on. Do you guys feel comfortable? And again, this is with LVE having a positive camp, by the way. I'm not trying to say he didn't. LVE has had a positive camp in the sense of coverage because he can't do much during the tackling during camp. And he didn't play in the preseason. But from a zone standpoint, I said this before, he's made a lot of plays when things were coming right at him. Do you feel comfortable with LVE getting 50 snaps in this game? With the understanding that Tom is likely going to attack him in that manner, or Tom is going to attack that short area and make LVE have to tackle well in space and or deal with a tight end or slot guy or running back coming in his area or manning up? Or do you feel comfortable with Jabril having to deal with that? Me personally, I feel comfortable with Jabril Cox dealing with all of these things that you'll see Tom Brady do, as opposed to there's a play right there. If you go look at Rob Gronkowski, that was too easy. It's too easy. And even that play, Michael Parsons got sucked up from the play action. But anyway, man, I just feel more comfortable about this defense being longer and faster, quicker than it was last year, because they're more in tune and ingrained than they were. Barnett, Jabril Cox, LVE's plays better when his job's on the line. Vic says Barr, Cox, and Fowler new to the defense this time around. And that's right. The players that are new to the defense for this game include guys that weren't here last year or were just out with injury or didn't play at all. And those three are the guys. Fresh King can move Curse down the linebacker to them quick passes will get shut down. Well, Curse did some of that, and Curse will do some of that. But even in the nickel situation, you're going to have Jabril Cox out there. So again, Keanu Neal played 50 snaps in this game. So somebody's going to be taking those snaps. And that's with J-Ron Curse out there. J-Ron played about 47 because Dono got hurt and J-Ron came in the game. Now, listen, he has a more defined role. I completely understand that. But I think Jabril can do a lot of those things. And I think you can line up J-Ron Curse all over this field. So J-Ron will help with that as well, Fresh. Sure. If you put a paper on LV's back, he won't get it off. Oh, damn, you deep, bro. You deep. David says, I think LVE is going to have a great year. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I don't really have a take one way or the other. I think LVE is going to be regular old LVE. And if that's a depth guy, I feel good about it. If it's a guy you got to rely on to be your 1 and 2, well, I hope for the best. I just say that. Fresh King says, I like Jabril Cox. He's mobile, fast to the outside. I think he's the matchup linebacker you go with on Sunday. That's just me. Well, damn, Cold Jelly. Let's not say that. Let's not say that. Prickett says, I think we'll see more of a 3-3-5 look with Micah being a force player and the fourth defensive lineman with Cox and LV in coverage. Oh, God, I hope we don't see LV in coverage. Well, all the time, at least. We will also see the Bland and the Rattler more often, too. Whew. If we're seeing healthy, by the way, if we're seeing Deron Bland and the Rattler, you're talking about not having a brain fart. the cat from FAMU. If we're seeing them a lot in this game, something went wrong. Something went wrong, I think, on our defense. Somebody got hurt or something. Because your starting line or your starting cornerbacks, Diggs, AB, J-Lou. Those are your guys. And if you go look at the percentage of snaps the Cowboys were in last year, it was mostly that nickel defense. If you want to bring in an extra DB, you're normally going to bring down J-Ron Curse. But if we're seeing more of the fourth safety, whichever you want to call it, and the fourth corner in this game, and it's not because guys are just tired, something went wrong. Marquise Bell, thank you. Goddamn brain fart. Something went wrong, in my opinion. I don't necessarily know that I want to throw, at the very least, Bell out there just because we're excited about the undrafted guy in week one against Tom Brady and put those expectations on him to do something. You got guys like Dono, Curse, Hooker, who are more than capable with the experience and in year two of this system. So I would pause on my expectations for those young rookies week one at the very least. That's just me. Damn, Lemaitre said he gonna have 2 picks. Boy, yeah, okay. All right. 2 picks for Marquise Bell. Y'all something else. What's up, Danny Savage?
Hey, yo. Reality just called in again. All right. Jabril Cox, I like him as an outside backer. But besides being drafted, what has he done?
Jesus Christ.
What has he done? No, what has he done to earn a starting job? I have a few points to make.
He's not starting.
That's just my first one. He's not. Okay.
No.
Even better. Good.
Why
okay.
is it better?
Even better.
What is your issue with Jabril Cox?
Because Dallas drafts people and they just anoint them.
He's not anointed, Danny. Danny, no.
So good.
What is your physical issue with him? Like what on field is your problem with Jabril Cox getting an opportunity to be on field to showcase what he's strong at? What is you just come in and say, why are we anointing Jabril? Nobody's anointing him. So what is your issue?
This was mine from day one. His strength was the outside run. The speed, super crazy speed.
Mm-hmm.
Outside, you ain't gonna beat him. Inside the tackles, that's his weakness. And you can go back to his 1 year at LSU, which I'm sure 99% of the bomb squad never even watched him play at LSU. You can go back to his 1 year at LSU, and he was a famous Jalen Smith. Every one of his tackles was 20 yards down the field.
Okay. All right, Danny. Cool. Nobody would argue with you coming into the NFL. Jabril Cox's weakness at that point was at the point of attack, inside the tackle box, and all that stuff. So now let me ask you, if you're doing your own damn homework, have you watched Jabril Cox since he's come into the NFL? Meaning in the preseason last year and the preseason this year. Have you or have you not seen him get better with that in between the tackles? And your answer will let me know if you're watching.
No practices, because I'm not.
I ain't talking about practice. That's why I didn't ask you about practice.
Preseason, guys.
Yes.
Preseason. Honestly, preseason. I didn't see any. I didn't see the strength. I didn't see strength versus the inside run. Again.
Okay, so you did not watch.
Like I said.
So you can't. You can't sit here and ridicule the bomb squad for not watching a LSU linebacker that most people won't watch during the regular season when you ain't watching your own. Hold on. You ain't watching your own linebacker in preseason. You're not even watching him. You said you didn't.
I just said I said I didn't watch the practices. I watched every one of our preseason games. I said I did not see an improvement.
You didn't want to see the improvement. It's lying right there in your face, Danny. Right there in your face.
Well, listen. We'll know 8 to 10, 12 weeks from now. We'll know.
Sure.
Like I said, that's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue was, the start of the show, and it was Jerry. And I've said this. What did Jerry say? If they're talking about us, we're winning. How many times have we had this conversation? It's a joke. Jerry talks about Tyron. Tupac has a better chance of showing up at the end of the year versus Tyron Smith. It's like, he says Tyron and all these people that never put on a uniform a day in their life. Like, yeah, Tyron's coming back. Tyron's in a full body cast from his bottom down right now. He's never playing again. And I just want to make a point for yesterday. I didn't call up yesterday with you and Vach, but you guys were talking football shape.
No, we weren't.
Besides,
Vach said he looks in shape. That's what Vach said.
No, about Jason Peters.
Right.
Besides Bohanna, besides some of the young guys, who is in football shape right now in Dallas for 90% of the NFL? You have some teams that did play some starters for like a quarter or two, but who's in football shape right now? You're not getting in football shape with Scully's on and going half speed and not hitting people. So to say that Jason Peters is going to take a few weeks to get in football shape, no one's in football shape right now except for the younger guys on Dallas who played the 3 preseason games. They're in football shape.
Sure.
You're going to tell me Zach Martin's in football shape?
So what is
You're going to tell me
my question is, what is your hold on. You're saying all this, but what is your point of this? Is what I'm getting at.
Throw Peters at left tackle and leave Tyler Smith inside.
Week 1?
Don't sleep on Joe Tryon.
Are you telling
you he had a good rookie year?
Danny, are you saying throw him in that? I mean, I'm with you and make him the left tackle when he's ready, but you mean throw him in there in 5 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you know what it is? If you put Tyler Smith at left tackle and he totally gets destroyed, let me ask you a question. There used to be an old commercial about I can't go into the game, my psyche's hurt. If you throw this kid at left tackle and he gets destroyed and he becomes a penalty machine, and then every referee is like, oh, now we're going to throw more penalties at him. And, okay, now we're going to throw him inside. Everyone's going to say, oh, the kid's a failure. We were lied to draft night. We never drafted him to be our left tackle. And let me ask you an honest question. You feel better with Tyler Smith and Connor McGovern on the left side versus Jason Peters and Tyler Smith at left guard?
Danny, I've already told you. I already told you. I'm with putting Jason Peters in there. What I'm not is this fantasy. I'm not with this fantasy of you can just sign a 40-year-old off the street who hasn't put a helmet or shoulder pads on in 9 months, who doesn't know your playbook, and throw him in the game to play 60 snaps at left tackle in 6 days. I am not living in that fantasy. I completely understand in real life, in real football life, you're going to need that probably that week to get going. Now, week 2, different story. But in 6 days, getting a guy in the building, this is not a kicker. This is not a punter. This is not even a running back. This is a left tackle where communication, understanding the playbook, knowing who you're next to, understanding your quarterback's cadence, understanding audibles, understanding every little detail that goes into this offense. Maybe the Eagles offense where they're just running it 45 times a game. But this offense where Will Grier told me specifically this is a very complex offense, not just for the quarterback, but for the offensive line calls, et cetera, et cetera. You need more than 5 to 6 days to prepare for that after having 9 months of no football, Danny. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
About week 1.
I understand, and I understand your point. So your point is a 20-year-old Tyler Smith has a better chance of not getting Dak killed than Jason Peters Sunday night. Correct?
My point is I want to protect my investment in Jason Peters because he's the one that's going to help you bump down your Tyler Smith into guard. If I throw Jason Peters out there without stretching his mental as well, Jason Peters could end up making a mistake because he doesn't know your playbook. Tyler Smith's not going to, I think, make a mistake at the left tackle position because he doesn't know what's going on. He might make it because he's holding. He might make it because somebody ain't do a job next to him and he read a stunt wrong or something like that. But Tyler Smith has been there with Connor McGovern. They know what's going on for week 1. That's all I'm saying, Danny. Now, week 2 is different because Jason Peters will know more. But I'm not throwing a guy out there after 6 days of being on the roster. That's some Madden shit.
Like I said, we can agree to disagree, and that's great. No big deal. We're just having a conversation like always. But the thing that totally pissed me off was the Jerry comment.
Yeah, I don't know how the Jerry comment got to Jason Peters though. That was interesting.
Nah, we talked about that yesterday. But I mean, I didn't get a chance to call in yesterday. But like I said, they're talking about us. We're winning. He doesn't care. He thinks Troy Aikman's playing Sunday night. He has no clue what he's doing. The guy's 80 years old. I mean, it's comical. Besides Dallas, I don't even watch the NFL anymore. I watch college. Sure. That's why I'm the guru. Joking. Yo, let me ask. I'll email you something about the draft. Don't worry about it.
All right, man.
Great call as always. Like I said,
debatable.
Got to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying?
Debatable.
And we got to look for Tupac to come in Sunday night. Yeah. Tyrants. Because Tyrants never playing against. All right? Later, guys.
All right, man. How split are we on this? I'm curious. Is this a thing in Cowboys Nation? I thought there was a reasonable understanding if a guy comes in 6 days before week 1 at 40, by the way. Not familiar with this playbook. It's realistically that's not going to be a possibility. But are we split here? Is this a thing? I should put a poll in here. Maybe I should do that. And this is the problem I have with signing him as late as you signed him. Where is it at here? Here we go. Got the calendar up. Tyron Smith went down Wednesday, August 24th. I would have been on the phone Wednesday night, August 24th, with Jason Peters. Thursday, hopefully got it done. If not, Friday. Cool. Get him in the building Friday. Now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days. 2 weeks to prepare for week 1. I'd much rather that, right, than 5 to 6 days. It's just me. That's just me. I could be wrong. 940. What it is, what it do. Oh, I forgot my what? 940. Going once. Damn, 940. You had a shot. Come on. Let's get 706 in the building. What's good? Wow. Hello? I know Special K. You got to get me Special K. I definitely thought about it. What's up, 706?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Just do me a favor. Turn down the radio or TV or phone. I can hear me in the background.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm down.
All right. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm like you. Why did we wait so long to reach out and grab another tackle?
Yeah.
And why didn't we reach out to Eric Fisher, who's much younger, for some sustainability?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was the same way, right? Like Eric Fisher was kind of my guy when we were looking at tackles. And I didn't even include Jason Peters. I just assumed Jason Peters was done, 40 years old. I don't know why. I just thought he wasn't playing. I didn't really look him up that much. But not going to lie to you, bro. When I went and looked at Jason Peters' tape, I was extremely impressed. So if I had to be completely honest with you, I would take Jason Peters, believe it or not, I would take Jason Peters over Eric Fisher based off of last year's tape. I know that sounds crazy because he's like 10 years younger, but he played that well, in my opinion, for a team that wasn't good.
Right. I got you. But, it still sort of baffled me why we sort of drug our foot, like you said. We could have had him in the building a lot sooner had we moved And like the pieces that we already have, like Tyler, and some of the other pieces that we have that, we don't think are ready to just step in, but now they're thinking Tyler can do the job. But suppose he goes down, then where? Where are we? So
yes,
why not go ahead and get somebody, sooner in case, he does go down. I mean, we know how injuries happen. Like, I mean,
are you talking
Tyron
about
went down in practice.
Are you talking about in case Peters goes down or Tyler goes down?
Tyler. Like, if Peters isn't ready for week 1 and something happens to Tyler, then where are we at?
That's the problem you ran into, I think, when you didn't get in front of this situation during the off season. You kind of waited, right? So what we're at if Tyler goes down is, you ready? Is Josh Ball. That's kind of where we're at, man. Josh Ball playing left tackle, unless they want to move Steele over there and to put Josh at right. That's also a possibility, but nonetheless, you're still talking about a guy who hasn't practiced in that all offseason in that position in Steele. So yeah, I know. We put ourselves in a bad spot, but got to find a way to get through that mud.
But I still think we have enough to get it done. I think defensively we've improved a lot. And if the defense stands up, I think we'll be okay. So I think we're really going to have to ride the defense most of the year like we did last year. And hopefully the offense, comes around.
Yeah, you're talking about the whole year or you're talking about week 1?
No, I'm talking about the whole year.
Okay.
I think we're going to pretty much ride the defense. And, if the offense can just get it done, I think defensively, defense wins games. And like I said, if we can just ride the defense and the offense can come in and be productive, then I think we'll be all right.
I agree with you, man. Got to get this. The defense is going to be what carries this team until the offense kind of catches up. Hey, appreciate the call, good brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. I just thought about something as we were talking this Jason Peters thing. Jason Peters himself said, I need 2 weeks. How you going to tell this man what he needs to do? It wasn't the coaches who came out and said, yeah, we want to ramp up Jason Peters because he ain't ready type thing. They didn't come out and say that specifically. They did use the word ramp up, though. But Jason came out and said, hey, I need 2 weeks. Y'all something else, man. We don't care what you need. You go out there and play before you stretch and learn any of this playbook and protect Dak's blind side. You just got here yesterday. We don't give a damn what you say you need. A future Hall of Famer that knows his body, that knows this game. What you talking about? Y'all crazy. I love y'all, though. Freight Train. What's good, Freight Train?
What's going on, man? I tell you what, all this offensive line talk, man, I just wish they would have gave Collins more reps at the left tackle spot, seeing as though he's played it before, and at least split the time with Josh Ball. Because my thing is, I would like to keep. I just wish we could have kept, even this week 1, kept everything in place, our offensive line, but just put him at the left tackle spot. Because Collins was road grading and was handling business. And it's just a shame that, they had him on the practice squad, this and that, but that right there could have been the missing piece. At least get past his first game. And just leave Tyler where he's at, leave Steele where he's at, and just let everybody be their scrimp. And like I said, minimize their weaknesses. But I just, and like I said, you said Peters, you stole a little of my thunder. Peter, like I said, the man said I need 2 weeks. And I think we can live with Collins for these 2 weeks. Being at the left tackle spot,
I would have still wanted. Listen, if we're going to go back in revisionist history, I would have signed a swing that is better than Collins and Ball. I don't think either of those dudes, in my opinion, are ready to be your left tackle. Collins was fine. Like he played better than Ball, in my opinion, on the right side. But again, we're talking about moving over to the left side. I haven't seen him over there. It's a different animal protecting the blind side. So I'm not quite ready to be like, yo, yeah, let's throw Collins at left tackle week 1 against Shaq Barrett. Yeah. I take my chances with Tyler. I think Tyler's upside at tackle in physical attributes, to me, I'd rather take the chances with Tyler. And understand Collins is the recipient of bad play from Ball, right? And when I say that is Ball was not good. So who was the next man up? Who was good behind him? It was Collins. But in reality, Peters and Whitworth, who not even a possibility, and these other guys, I think would have been better than Collins.
Sky, I'm gonna have to throw it out there, bro. If Steven's still mad about signing that contract, and is it a little bit of a self-sabotage for the fact that protecting man's blind side, you got a quality quarterback, and you don't protect his blind side by getting him any and everything of what he needs? I'm just wondering, was he feeling a little bit of salty? But he knew he couldn't do the Cooper. He knew he couldn't do the. He couldn't get rid of Dak like Cooper. And I'm just wondering, did he throw that little bit on the back end? We waited to the last end. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there, guy. When you get a chance, I want you and Bryce to talk about it later on, man. Just throw it out there. But $40 million, think about it. $40 million. That's a bargain now. I'm out, man.
Ooh, freight train. Appreciate the freight train. So essentially what he's saying, if I'm not mistaken, is the Joneses are basically acting out of spite due to the contract negotiations. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna let y'all have that one. I really try not to dive too much into the conspiracy thing, and that is definitely conspiracy-ish. Man, why would you sabotage your quarterback in your season out of contractual spite? I can't go that far. I'm not that far left with it just yet. I don't blame y'all for that thought though, because we are the Cowboys. But nah, I ain't ready to go that far, y'all. I think they just are arrogant in their approach, that they're not necessarily willing to be like everyone else. They think their way is the way, and they're going to ride that because I don't know if it's Steven or Jerry, or both. One or the other or both want to be able to say, we did it my way. Like, that's what they want to do. Cowboy P. Shit, I believe it. I hear you. Listen, I'm not mad at y'all for thinking that. But I find it hard to believe you would deliberately, basically, you know, it's like the offensive line. We ain't going to block for Dak on this play because he boom, 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 boom. And you get him sacked. That's essentially what you're saying he's doing. Sully, $2 donation. Protect the black side.
Super chat.
All right, 940. We're going to try this again. 940, are you there before I bring you in live? Here we go. What's good, 940?
Well, let's talk about the conspiracy first. We need to get that out the door.
Let's get it out the door.
I'm really thinking that Jerry's going to go put $160 million out there and just throw it in the wind. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Being salty at Dak and all that's crazy. Let's strike that. Jason Peters. The wise thing to do is bring him in here and just set him up for failure. Come on, guys. This is football. We got to make sure that Jason Peters is ready to go when he's ready to go.
Yeah.
40-year-old dude is not going to. First of all, he doesn't want to come to tour days. He's not wanting to spend all of his time in camp and all that. He knows what he's doing. He wants to come in and make his money and go. That's what that's all about. So that's what you expect from guys at this part of their career. He's a mercenary. He's coming in to make his money. He's gonna go.
Right.
And he wants to probably do a good job because that's his credibility on the line. You know, and so, but to think that we can just bring him in here and just plug and play before he even gets a chance to know the playbook, get him in there before he's gotten into player shape. I mean, that's all this ludicrous stuff.
It seems fantasy to me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're not talking about Madden here. We're talking about real people. But we're supposed to be talking about defense.
Right.
But last year when we we went on that tirade. Last year when we went up against Brady, Brady was just like he knew what he was doing. They had their stuff down. We were just finding out about how this defense was going to work. Curse has had a full year in it, and the record speaks for itself where Curse stands. Barr, he steps right in, and he's learned to play. You got Parsons. Parsons looked a little confused on a couple of plays last year.
He did.
I venture to say that he won't be confused this year.
No.
And on top of that, Tom Brady, I think Osa and Neville, those guys putting a push up front. Those guys have a way of making it very uncomfortable for Brady. It should be a different game. So that's my perspective as far as the defense. I think we're going to be in a much better position. We're solid. Looking at where we're in, Tank has had a year in well, not a full year, but he's had his time learning the defense.
Yeah.
He's not going to be worried about double teams. They don't double team Tank. It's a pick your poison type deal.
Yeah.
And not throwing any shade, but at our last linebacker, but we got somebody a little faster now. And so all those guys, we should. I think the defense will bode well in this game. We just need to protect Dak. I'm gonna resist the temptation of making it an offensive conversation, though.
I appreciate the call and you sticking on the topic there, man. What's your name?
Harry.
Harry. I thank you, Harry. I appreciate you, dog. Great call.
All right. Take care.
You too. Yeah, I agree with the caller. I think the defense will fare better this year. Last year, they were more tight on the interior. Ali Marpet, Kappa, and Jansen are a formidable interior offensive line. And then, obviously, you had Tristan Wirfs and Donovan Smith. That's a really damn good line. Marpet retired. Kappa moved on to Cincy, and Jansen's not here. Now, Shaq Mason comes in to play right guard, who played with Brady. So I think they kind of, fix and patch that part up. But you're going to have the backup to the backup center and the rookie left guard to deal with Micah in the B gap and A gap. Micah's going to be blitzing a lot from that area. Stunts they got to deal with. Osa, I think year two. Neville. I mean, this is just going to be a different defensive line. It just is a different defensive line on the interior, a different linebacker group behind it. A faster group, a more confident group. Let's be completely honest. Again, these guys are human beings. They probably were going into that game just not sure. It's Tom Brady. They're the champs. It's on the road. It's a daunting task. And until you get out there and start running around, you just don't know. And then Brady got into a rhythm and it got real weird. Fortunately, you had the interception. You had the forced fumble. I think they had 4 turnovers in that game, actually. 1, 2, 4 turnovers. The forced fumble at the goal line, and it helped them. But other than that, defense had its struggles in the air. I feel much better this year about it, though. I feel much better about it. I see Danny is still stuck on the Jason Peters thing. Let's take a listen real quick. Let me just make sure I ain't tripping.
Just a grit, finishing plays, technique, knowing what to do and playing fast. Keeping his nose clean and stuff, on and off the field. I'm going to help him out. I helped him a little bit today, just trying to get his technique and all that stuff in rhythm.
How long will it take you to get ready in your mind?
It'll be a couple weeks. Just, being in pass and getting my feet up under me. It's not going to take long. I mean, you never know what will happen. Like I said, I'm ramping up. If I feel good enough, I'm going to jump out there. You know, I just want to get my legs up on it, see how I feel, you know, in pass with the helmet. Because, you know, I hadn't been in pass or helmet since, you know, December, well, January. So we just going to see. I don't have a game circled, but I'm working to, you know, be ready be available in a couple weeks.
Your focus to be depth or to start and left out?
That's all we needed to hear from. Thank you, Jason Peters. Well, I appreciate that, JP. We cool. There you go, Danny. You go tell Jason Peters you need to be ready today when he said it's going to take me a couple weeks. And I digress. All right, Marv, Magic City. You wasn't in here yesterday, Magic City, Marv. What's goody?
What up, family? How you doing?
I'm good. Listen, we ready for the season. This is your first official call as we prep for the regular season. What you got for us?
Oh man, yeah. I'm like you say, the fans. Man, fans got to get out of that panicking all the time. Another thing, that dude, he made a good statement because that defense is bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
The middle is stronger with my boy fit 42 now. That's going to be an X factor.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
And
42?
42. Yeah. The linebacker that we got from Minnesota.
Yeah, we're replacing him with 14, right?
Yeah. So, man, Brady, I think Brady's dangerous.
12.
He's good at that 1-2-3, 1-2-3. That's how he do it. But this time, I think he ain't gonna score 30 points. I think he's gonna get it. I can see him get sacked about 6 or 7 times. He's gonna get it. Yeah, they gonna get him this time, and he know it. Whole different strategy. Now we just got to make sure our corners turn their head and get. Sometimes our corners be. When our corners be running with the receivers.
Yeah.
And they don't turn their head, and that's how they catch the ball.
Yeah.
We got to be looking for that.
And Brady's good at those back shoulders, so he's very cerebral. Yeah.
He's good. Now another thing, that damn offensive line coach. He the problem. He better play that 12 personnel. Help that kid get that running game going, like you said, and then you can set him up. But the big surprise is going to be one of my receivers. He's going to have a big game. That's going to be the big surprise. And all you fans going to come back, oh, man, you see what our receivers did? And see everybody.
I mean, Marv, you saying it like it wouldn't be a surprise. It would be a surprise if Noah Brown has a big game. It would be a surprise if Dennis Houston has a big game. It wouldn't 100% be a surprise. So why would that be something like you can come back and be like, hey, see, look, Noah Brown, Dennis Houston, it'd be a surprise, my guy.
Yeah, everybody downing though. They're like, oh, they ain't got no receivers. Oh, it's gonna be hard.
Well, Marv, are you saying this receiving core as we speak in week 1 is some juggernaut of a receiving core? Isn't it fair to say there are question marks?
Yeah, it says a question mark.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna do good.
Marv, I know you think you the one that told me all of them was gonna have 1,000 yards. So you ain't got to tell me, Marv. I know how you feel about them.
Yeah, but we gotta, like me and you say, run right. You gotta remember. Oh, another thing still.
Yeah.
You forgot. McGovern played last year in the first game.
Yeah, I ain't forget that. I ain't forget that one, Marv. But yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody acts like this is his first time playing. Only person, first time playing against Tampa Bay is the president. He didn't play, and 73. Everybody else played.
Terrence didn't play against them, but that's neither here nor there. So they got 3 of their 5 offensive linemen. Technically, 3 of their 5 offensive linemen will be new against Tampa. 4 of the 5 will either be new or in a different position from last year. The only person playing in the same position last year in week 1 is Tyler Biadasz. Everybody else, Zach didn't play last year. McGovern is going to be at left, not right. Tyler's going to be a tackle, and then Terrence didn't play last year.
Yeah. So it's like you said, me and you play at 12, Them tight ends for us going to have a big day. Watch what I tell you. Because they're going to try, like you said, that defensive coordinator, he loved the blitz. And that's when you throw them screens on them with number 20, number 2.
Did you watch the show yesterday,
21.
Marv?
Yep.
Did you see when I was talking about attacking the edges?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where the bread is buttered at for Dallas. I think you're going to see a similar game plan in kind of the quick stuff. But I don't know if you're going to see as much deep success as they had last year because Amari Cooper was playing in that game. Michael Gallup played most of that game or half of that game, and then obviously CeeDee Lamb is CeeDee Lamb. But I don't know if you're going to have that same type of success in the air. He threw for 400-some yards. I don't know if we'll see that this week.
But you know what you got to do still, don't you? Like me and you say, you line 81 over there, so I want you to run as fast as you can.
Okay.
You got to scare the shit out. You got to scare them. Because he run this 4-3. You got to scare them.
Yeah.
Because you send him deep and he get behind one of them, if he catch one pass for 30 or 40 yards, I bet they won't. You know what I'm saying? I bet they start playing back. And that's when you run over.
Yeah, if you can bust them upside the head one good time, you definitely make them think. I'm thinking something like a play action shot, right? Dak does well out of play action. I don't think we ran it enough, in my opinion, last year. So a little bit more play action. I think you might be able to get them.
But it's going to be a good game because any other quarterback will probably get about 10 sacks, but this guy's hard to sack. That's the only thing.
So we ain't going to get him 10 times. We're just going to give him 7.
I hope we get 7. I'm picking 7, but we might only get 3. Because this dude's so quick with this.
He's very quick.
You know
he's very quick, Mark. Yeah. We didn't touch him last year. We didn't touch him. But again, I think things are going to be a bit different this year, Mark. Appreciate the call as always, fam. Hopefully we see you again later this week.
Yeah, I hit you at 1.
All right.
When I'm working. I hit you while I'm working. All right, fam.
Got you, Mark. Be safe.
Shalom.
Yeah, if we're going back to yesterday offensively, I still think the game plan, well, not game plan. I think they should at least lean into attacking the edges there. I think that's where it's at. Oh, let me mute. There we go. All right, I think we caught up on the phones. Let's hit the chat. We are in good time. We are on good time right now. Marv the uncle who should have made it to the league. Yeah. Hey, King, your comment, I chopped up a video yesterday when you were talking about on Vacha's show the Toy Story situation, and you just had to be there. I'm not explaining the whole thing, but I just want to let you know that I put that video out. It's at about 20,000 views on Twitter, man, and people was giving you love. So shout out to you, King Element, for the hilarious joke yesterday. Hilarious. Dallas Sports 1977, and I probably didn't talk about this enough, and maybe I will tomorrow. I have a special segment / show for tomorrow's preparation for the game. But he says turpentine is going to make a difference on the outcome off the game. Cowboys beating Tampa, so he's going to make a difference. Is basically what he's saying. I agree. He's one of the guys we'll feature tomorrow when we continue to detail how to beat this Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But yeah, I got you. Sonny said that was funny. Hilarious. King, you got to get Twitter, man. You got to get Twitter. It's a short of the Toy Story. You just got to go back and watch that entire part leading up to the Toy Story joke. And the payoff of the Toy Story joke is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Also, Professor O, you got to hit me up on Facebook, or you got my number. Let me know when we want to get these Professor O obscured stats of the week popping. I liked that last year. All right, we got 2 more, so I'm going to lock them up. We'll end it here on these calls and then on the chat. And, man, good timing. We got my Reading brother in the building. What's goody?
How you doing?
I'm good.
I just want to say a couple of things. I want to apologize for yesterday when I said about the Reading situation.
Oh,
I know you from Harrisburg.
You good, man.
And everything. But I believe our defense is going to really do good because I don't think that they line is going to be able to handle our offense. I mean, our defensive line. Our defensive line looks really good, and I hope we do it good. But I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. And you have a God bless day in your family. I hope your show keep on going strong like always.
Appreciate
Cowboy
you, man.
Nation, we want to win.
Yes, sir. Man, you are good, brother. You ain't have to apologize for that, but I appreciate the kindness. I listen, you from PA. I rep PA in general, so thank you.
Super chat.
Micah for LT. $4 or $5 donation. Appreciate you. He says, can we talk about how we have Zach this time around, or y'all going to keep talking about what we missing? Micah Micah for LT, you must have just jumped up in this. You must have just jumped up in here, or you didn't watch the show yesterday. Because you say we, I'd imagine you mean including me. We definitely talked about Zach Martin being there. In fact, I literally just talked about Zach Martin being there because I think Marv brought it up. And yesterday's show was about the offense against their defense. And we talked about how this, let me pull it up for y'all. Hold on, give me a second. This is a projected offensive line. You know, Zach Martin's right there. So, yeah, Micah, we definitely talked about it, good brother. You probably just missed it is all. But appreciate the donation. 325. What it is, what it do?
Hey, I'm Chase from Texas, and
you mind speaking up just a little bit? Unless you at work, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh no, you're not gonna get me in trouble. I'm from Texas, and I'm unfortunately a Tampa Bay fan, but I'm just calling up to tell you, it's not the backup to the backup center. It's the backup center and the backup to the backup guard.
So I had it reversed. My apologies there. So backup center and the backup to the backup guard. So the interior is dealing with some backup situation right now.
Yeah, same as y'all's outside.
Oh well, shit. Well, we know what we dealing with on the outside. So yeah.
No, yeah.
I appreciate the clarification.
No problem. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll definitely allow me to be more knowledgeable once we continue to detail this matchup here. Let me ask you a question, since you're a Bucks fan. What matchup worries you the most? I don't care if it's on offense or defense, but what matchup for the Cowboys coming into week 1 worries you the most? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
no problem. What bothers me, or what worries me the most, is what you're hitting at, that interior. And if I was Dan Quinn, I would probably, like as y'all have said, and I've heard on other shows, stand Micah up over the center and dare him to.
You handled it well. Right. So basically, Micah, the lion.
Yeah. Micah in the middle.
Mike in the middle.
I'm not too worried about Micah coming from the outside because Brady gets rid of the ball so fast.
This is true.
It's more Micah up the middle, with particularly over the rookie guard and the backup center.
Well, I appreciate the honesty there, man.
No problem. But one thing that does give me hope about the center problem that we're having, and then I'll get off the phone lines, is the fact that he worked with the former backup center for the Buccaneers when they won the Super Bowl all summer in the altitude, learning how to back up Jensen and learn what Brady likes and doesn't like. So that gives me some hope.
So you're saying that your current starting center, which is the backup, worked with Brady's former center?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, brother, that's something to take, something positive. I always say here, would you rather hear something positive or negative in regards to somebody's improvement? But that's positive. But hey, I appreciate the call. It sounds like you're back there doing Morse code or something, and I don't want to, keep having that going on the show. But thank you, Tampa Bay Bucks fan. Good luck to you, sir.
No problem. Thank you for the good show.
Thank you. It's pretty cool, man. We got Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans tuning into the show. I'm hoping this kind of happens throughout the season as we are talking about teams and we get some of their fans coming here like that, though. If y'all remember the 49ers matchup, and we might even, sometimes a 49ers fan will comment after a show, bang, bang, Niner gang. I feel like this is what. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Whack. It's corny. But they come in here randomly and say that. But last year, my gosh, dog. Or should I say it?
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
All right, I'm chilling. Oh, man. But seriously, that was annoying. It was so annoying. Those 49er fans coming in here last year, for the most part, like, yeah, it's all right. But there was a lot of them that was ridiculous. I couldn't stand that shit. But salute to you, Tampa fan with the Morse code. You were a fantastic call. I don't say we them boys. Let's not talk about us. Come on, Adrian, bro. Come on, man. Supposed to be Cowboy Nation. All right? You don't come at it. We talk about the other team right now. All right, man? Jeez. Sky and only child? Woo. No, sir. No, sir. I am the oldest of 7 total siblings. The oldest. I'm disappointed in you, Adrian. What do we say? We, as family does, we can bicker and argue and debate amongst each other. But when somebody else come in our crib and try to do that, no. How many times me and my brothers, we get into it? But if one of us get into it with somebody or somebody's outside, all that, it don't matter. We rolling, we riding, we pulling up. So I don't like that energy, man. Fix that a little bit. Knicks, not telling you. Toxic Tom says Sky's bro is an all-pro kicker. Because I said he kicked the Harrisburg Cougars to the district title. Yeah, they won the district title. Man, good time of the day. We are low-key in overtime. The phones are locked and over. They're done. Yeah, Toxic. Good show today. If you did miss it and you just kind of coming in and not sure what the hell we talked about, just a quick rundown. We detailed the Cowboys defense against Tampa Bay's offense. And my number one takeaway is that you have to put pressure on one Tom Brady. If you put pressure on Tom Brady, he becomes a mere mortal. If you do not, Tom Brady will dice you up. And this is just a comparison of Dak Prescott and Tom Brady's under pressure. And then this is the Buccaneers skill players that we detailed and went through throughout the show. So run that thing back if you missed it. I think we went into great detail, and I think you can get something out of this. Now, again, as I said before, it's a book as old as the Bible, pressuring Tom Brady. But sometimes when you see the numbers, sometimes when you see the film, you get a better idea. I'm a visual person. I like to see things. I can hear it, but I also envision it at the same time. So if I can hear it and see it, it sticks even harder for me, man. It does. Also, we had a great call from Danny. Danny is really, honestly, y'all, he's my coffee in the morning. I know Danny gonna come in here and go against the grain more often than not. And y'all know me. If it's something I feel I gotta push back on, I will. And he wakes my ass right up. So shout out to Danny. If you enjoyed the show, like my man from Tampa, make sure you, hey man, from Tampa, subscribe, bro. I know we ain't gonna talk Tampa Bay Buccaneers every week, but hey, if you enjoy how we do these things here, hit that like button at least for today's show and this week's show, and come on back on Sunday. I'll have a promo video. I'm hoping for y'all tomorrow or Friday. I'm hoping I have a promo video for Game Day Live Season 2 at Texas Live. You can check us out during game day. We'll be previewing the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. All right. Aaron said, like the show. Indeed, man. Like that thing. Scott. Here we go. Scott so old, his house got cave markings. Here we go. Danny is that cheap coffee that you don't want to drink, but it's all you got. That's funny. I don't like the petty either. We'll ignore. Got some pettiness in the chat. Danny said he in the chat.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
He getting cooked. Danny, listen. This is one thing I think people that don't watch this show or watch the show for that matter. If you just come in here on a cuff and you don't understand what's going on, you might think the chat hates you. You might think I got an issue or something like that. Nah, we just literally have fun and we can laugh at ourselves. That's what I tell people this too that ask me, hit me up in the DMs and trying to learn and do all these things. Once you are ingrained, you better A, have thick skin. Okay? Because people going to say crazy things. B, you better be able to laugh at yourself. If you can't do that, you just going to be filled with a ton of negative energy and you're not going to be able to have as much fun. If I'm not having fun on this show, we ain't doing it no more. It's all love, as L says here. Love y'all to death. Shout out to the sponsors, Boston Scientific, the Cochran Firm, and DFW Turf. Make sure y'all tune in later tonight. Mauricio Rodriguez, who had a fantastic show with our guy Evan, who writes for A to Z Sports. Crazy, because I was thinking about getting Evan on here, but it didn't happen. He got Evan, so make sure to go check that out. He talks Cowboys Bucks as well. And come on back tomorrow. Let me hit this button because I'm getting cooked now. And I know y'all going to take this right on over to the Voss Lombardi live show later where you can check me out 306 Central. Y'all ain't shit, man. Oh, Swain, goddamn. All right, listen, I'll see y'all later and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. We out of here. Love you. Peace.
Bomb Squad!